Yeah, literally. But I think that's also important because everybody imagines their role in the work being some type of grand, like Mother Teresa type of figure, and it's
we just a gear.
And that's okay. Like, do what it is that feels that you are passionate about, where it's needed, and with good taste. Right? It's not just about you, but like identify the need that feels most closely to what it is that you're actually good at and can relate to, and then nobody told you that you need to solve world hunger. If you feel like, oh, it would be important.
Every piece of the plane is important.
Literally.
If your wing is missing a nail or a screw.
Yeah, it's gonna fall apart eventually.
It's okay to be a little screw. And that's kind of how.
Come on now.
Yeah.
It's okay to be a little screw. Isn't that a bar? A rapper. Matt Muse, everybody. This has been Shit Talk. You already know. It's your girl Naira, and this is Shit Talk. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Shit Talks. Pop, pop, pop. Air horn, air horn, air horn. My name is Naira. I have the pleasure of being y'all host, as always. But who the hell is this?
I'm Matt Muse.
Nice. Matt Muse. We're going to be here with Matt Muse talking about community. We're going to be talking about the Love and Nappyness Haircare drive, the Long Hair Don't Care show. You know, I got my hair a little long this time. His hair is always long every time. It's not weave. Despite the hat, it's not a wig under there.
They asked me at the show too.
That's crazy. Yeah. That's actually crazy.
It's about the 7th time in my life somebody asked me.
But that's, you know, you're doing something right when somebody asks you if your hair is.
It's the most amazing. It's a compliment.
What was that basketball player who he got like lock extensions? Jimmy Butler. They think you Jimmy Butler. That's crazy.
He thinks he's me.
Jimmy Butler thinks he's Matt Muse. We've got Matt here. We're going to be talking about the Long Hair Don't Care show, the Love and Nappyness Haircare drive. And we're also going to be talking about music, how the hell you even ended up curating an event so large and so bussin'. So we're going to get into it. But before that, who the hell even is Matt Muse? Like, what do you do?
My name is Matt Muse. I'm a rapper from the South Side of Chicago.
Period.
And a creative director from the South Side of Chicago. I make music and I run an organization, community effort called Love and Nappyness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Period.
That's me.
What is Love and Nappyness?
Love and Nappyness is a community initiative I started in 2019. It's named after an EP I put out the same year. So I dropped the EP in August of 2019, and I started Love and Nappyness in like October or November. And it started with a hair care drive, which is a holiday drive where I collected hair care, skincare, and personal hygiene products and donated them to charities in the city, South and West Side specifically. And the goal of it is to promote community wellness through the love of our natural hair and our natural selves. And now we're 5 years in, still doing the drive and doing other events too. And you know, one of our biggest event is the Long Hair Don't Care show.
5 years, that's old. Might as well open a retirement fund for the organization. That's old. So how does a rapper even start doing stuff that's related to hair? Like, what does those even have to do with each other?
I ask myself the same thing. But so in 2015, I lost a bet. I bet on the Super Bowl, and I lost the bet.
Who was playing that year? I don't know anything about ball sport, but I'm curious to know who's the reason why you even...
Seahawks Patriots. That's what I thought. So it was the Seahawks Patriots Super Bowl. So you can blame Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll.
Boo.
I mean, no, yay, because
yay.
Yeah, you can blame Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll for the existence of Love and Nappyness.
Oh, period.
There's a direct correlation because they chose to throw the ball on the goal line instead of running it. And
That's
that
crazy.
caused the Patriots to win. Sports people will understand that.
That's crazy though. So then what did that lead to?
The bet, I had a bet with a friend that if I was growing my hair at the time, I had a bet with a friend that if the Patriots won, that I would get a haircut. I ended up getting a haircut and it was really bad. I went to a new barber and it was an awful haircut. And you know, like, those like moments after you get a bad haircut are like, it's like you're panicking because you're like, yo, what am I gonna do?
I gotta go out into the world like this.
But it's like hair grows back. But at the time I was like, yo, like, I'm never ever cutting my hair again.
That's crazy.
Like, I literally was like, I would never cut my hair again.
That's crazy.
And I have not cut the top of my hair since.
You got a little
haircut.
undercut, but still.
Yeah, I got the fade.
Yeah.
But I haven't cut none of this since I lost that bet. So that was how I started growing it. And so you go maybe, 4 years in, my hair is super long. I'm wearing like this nappy fro, you know what I'm saying? Loving the nappy fro. And then I'm like, oh, like nappy has like this interesting correlation. You know, I'm a dark skinned man, you know, with nappy hair. And like, I see the way people look at me and like the way people approach me or like act when I come around, and I was like, oh, like y'all niggas be treating me like I'm gonna do to you, like
right,
you know what I'm
like,
saying?
I'm suburban.
Or like I'm not, like I just could tell the way that I was being being treated in rooms, and I was like, yo, like I'm gonna talk about this in the raps, and so I made an album called Nappy Talk that was about like me standing on my nappy hair,
Reclaiming,
you know what I'm saying?
like,
yeah, like nappy is great, you know what I'm saying? But also like taking nappy and being like, nah, like I'm a very unconventional, intelligent person. Like I think unconventionally like intelligent is exactly the way to describe me. Like I don't really believe in social norms. I don't really like, and like the older I get and the more cool things I do, the more I'm able to like really be myself in rooms, and it's so fucking cool. But like that project was like the first iteration of that, and so yeah, Nappy Talk. Then, so that, like I said, project talking about being confident and loving myself, like talking my shit through the growth of my natural hair. Then I made Love and Nappyness as like a part 2 to it, and that project wasn't really about the hair thing. It was about different types of love. So each song in the project was about a different type of love, and then like the Greek word for that love was next to the song title. And really happy with that project. You know, it was really cool. But all of that is a result of me starting to grow my hair. And then I was raised, you know, in the church, and my grandmother and my mother, both servant leaders, you know what I'm saying? I remember multiple times, like, you know, going out and giving out food to the homeless with my grandma. And like, she would just do it to do it. Like, she wasn't like, oh, I did this now, like, clap, snap for me, you know what I'm saying? Because I did it. And so I think it was very natural for me to be like, yo, like, anything I do has to have some level of like give back in it. And so I was like, nah, what if I make a thing? Like, toy drives are really cool. What if I did a drive? But it was like in line with this music I've been making, and this like all these articles being written and shit, like Haircare drive, and that shit just sounded so cool to me. Haircare, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I care, you care,
haircare, right? It was like definitely one of the moments where I was like, "That's a bar, let's do it," and that's the origin. So
that's wild.
Without Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson,
there would be no Love and Nappyness.
There would probably be no Love and Nappyness.
Shout out to them.
That's actually crazy to think about.
They need to sponsor
I've never ever put that together.
So I want to ask, like, I know you told me why hair care, right? But I know that like I'm assuming that as time has gone on, first of all, full disclaimer, right? Like I helped co-direct this drive. I popped up to help out with the drive and was like, oh, this is really cool, you know, and nigga, you know what I'm saying? But popped up to help, you know, as most people do, right? Like to see an initiative and be like, oh, like what's that about? Or I want to help with that. And so believing in being in line with that mission and taking on more capacity as time went on. But I want to ask, like, you know, thinking about that idea of like evolution, right? And how the drive has grown. What are the reasons why like natural hair care or just hair care products or self-care products are such like an important thing to be able to collect, right? Like we know that coat drives are important because people are cold. We know toy drives, you know, stuff like that. But like, why do we give a fuck about self-care?
You know, us people who sit in the position of privilege, we have the opportunity to like curate our appearance in a way that feels suitable and best for us, and then in turn we get things based on that. You know what I'm saying? Like jobs. It's giving these folks, especially the specific organizations we've donated to, I think about like, so one of them being a youth homeless shelter, the other one being a halfway house, folks who just got out of prison. These people are trying to get back into like society or trying to get jobs, you know what I'm saying? Trying to even get homes. Like if you've ever gone, you know what I'm saying? Like if you've ever tried to apply for like an expensive apartment, like expensive, or like anything where it's like, oh, I gotta go, like independently owned maybe, landlord. Independent landlords have full decision over whether or not they choose to give you the apartment you're looking for or not. And if you've ever had that experience where you walking up to the place with them and you know as soon as you get, oh, I'm not getting this apartment.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just off the vibes. Yeah. You know, because of my government name, I think people like be like, oh, and then they be like, oh. You know what I'm saying? Like as soon as they see me. And so I think if you've had that experience, you know how those moments, how critical those moments are when you're like, hey, like, even if this system sucks, like I have to do what's best to get myself together to get the thing I'm going after, mainly jobs, you know what I'm saying? And I think that it gives people the opportunity to do that. Like, oh, like, in growing my natural hair, I was just growing the shit. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Shout out to all the amazing black women who, in my life, who were like, hey, nigga, like, you can't just, like, we know you nappy, but you can't just be growing your hair like that.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna destroy your hair if you don't start taking care of it better. So, like, put these products in it. Maybe start wearing 2-strand twists. If you don't want to, like, get up and comb your hair out every day, just wear the twist. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all the result of a black woman being like, hey,
this is what you should do.
You know what I'm saying? And so I think that, in turn, I'm paying that forward and throwing that oop to someone who might not know those things about the hair, you know. And then I think this, you know, a thing that I've been really on this year is like the personal hygiene product shit is just self-explanatory. Like, motherfuckers need toothbrushes. Like, you know
and
what
you
I'm saying?
deserve
Like,
to brush your
yeah, you should be able to brush your teeth.
Take a
you should
shower
be like, take a
with
shower,
something that's good.
shave, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'm really, like, I love the hair care piece, don't get me wrong, but I think the thing that has changed over time is like, the world moves so fast. I think those products are much more affordable than they were when I first started it. And the knowledge is just much more vast. Like, you can probably get on TikTok and learn how to take care of your hair
oh my goodness.
in 3 minutes.
What?
Whereas when I first started this, it wasn't really like that.
When I first went natural, it wasn't no YouTube teaching me nothing.
Exactly. And so I think there's a both and of it. Like, that's the reason why the hair care stuff is important. But now it's like, also, let's get these people the basic necessities of being able to wake up and feel good. You know what I'm saying? And I think feeling good is important because when you feel good, I think you do good. You know what I'm saying? The better you feel, the better you look. And when I say the better you look, I'm talking about how you look to yourself when you look in the mirror. The better you look, I think the better prepared you are for whatever day you got ahead of you. You know what I'm saying? So
That's very real. Yeah, it changes the quality of life, which I think is
quality of life is so important.
Exactly, and it's an aspect that people who are having, you know, housing insecurity, people who are formerly or currently incarcerated are constantly robbed of, is this idea of having a better quality of life. It's like survival is important and is paramount, but like is not the only thing, right? And survival is also affected by quality of life. It's the same way like we talk about like recreation, right? Like niggas don't have nothing to eat. What do they need a basketball court for? Why can't we have both of those things? Why can't people get something to eat and also recreation?
The calories.
Exactly. After I eat the food, why don't I deserve? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I need a jacket, but I also need some face wash. Like that actually works for me. I need options for face wash and not just the bar. So you know what I'm saying? Like that type of thing. It's not like, but it's like yes and, you know, to like the needs that people have, right? I think it brings the humanity back to a lot of the communities that are served by the drive and drives like that in general. Is that like you said, the same way you're a person and you want or you need these things is like, so are those other people as well. How did community affect not only the way the show looks and the way the show is curated, but also like literally the creation and the success of the show that we now know?
I mean, yeah, community is everything, you know. I'm a firm believer that wealth and friends is like a real thing, you know what I'm saying? And so much of my professional life features me asking people for help and then being like, I got you, you know what I'm saying? And so community is the backbone to everything, especially the Long Hair Don't Care show, like you said.
When I walk in the room at the Long Hair Don't Care show, what do I see? Like, what am I looking at?
So I think atmosphere, number one, is the biggest aspect of our event. I'm trying to curate a vibe. I'm trying to curate an atmosphere.
Period.
That feels like love and nappiness. You know what I'm saying? Emphasis on the love. And so I think the first thing you feel when you walk into the space, and I think Talia Hall is the perfect space for it. Talia Hall has this like very brown, like calm brown energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
It's giving black woman.
Like a fireplace. You know what I'm saying? That's what Talia Hall feels like to me. Yeah. Or a black woman.
Yeah. I was like, no, for sure.
Both end. A black woman by a fireplace. There we go. Yeah. I got you. And so it feels like that. So I think as soon as you walk in, there's just like this calm that comes upon you. And then when you enter the space, we have vendors on the floor. And I think the vendor part is one of my favorite aspects of the show. You interact with vendors whose work or business resonates with the work that we do at Love and Nappyness. Thanks to Lululemon for being a sponsor the last 2 years. In the last 2 years, they've had Chicago Tribe breakdancing crew. And they on the floor breakdancing.
Going crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this year, apparently the crowd was just like turned when they was out there too, which I'm like super happy to hear. And you know, I'm a hip hop head, so all aspects of hip hop are important to me. That's, you know, breaking, DJing. Don't really do graffiti, but like, and we can't do graffiti in Talia Hall. But like, we got
Unless
at least
you get caught. I mean, if you don't
right.
get caught,
We got at least 3 of the aspects of hip hop in there with the MCing, the breaking, and the DJing. And so you walk in and that's happening. And then you have an amazing host.
oh my gosh, who?
I don't know. You guys have any idea who the host might be?
She hosts,
I think she's really
show
talented.
called Shit Talks too.
Really? Oh, she hosts Shit Talks?
Yeah.
Wow. I think she does really cool things on TikTok.
She's also
She
thick.
might also be. Is she thick?
She's thick.
I can't confirm or.
I can't confirm or deny these claims.
Right. Host Naira.
Thank you.
Is your host of the Mount Haircare show. She's hosted all 3 that have been at bigger venues. But yeah, this year our headliner was Raven Lene. Joseph Chilliams performed. I performed. Jay Bambi performed. DJ Cash Era DJ'd. DJ Cash Era has DJ'd all of them at the venues as well. And so you get a phenomenal music show. And what I realized this year is you get a crowd of people who really love being there. And I think everybody involved with it, the musicians, the hosts, our DJ, our volunteers, our vendors, and our venue, curate a vibe that's just, you got to be there or you tweak.
Quite literally.
And I be trying to tell people, like, if you don't, you're gonna have FOMO.
You're either bald head, and if you're bald head by choice, or whatever the case is, then you booty snack. Like literally, yeah.
That is the mantra, I guess.
Yeah, it is our slogan. I mean, it's like
slogan.
Put it right here. No, I was like, that's beautiful. So then that makes me wonder, right? Because you know, you mentioned at the beginning, you talked about the many different hats you wear, right, as an artist. And I think that sometimes, I think that happens, especially when it comes to any form of organizing or community work, is that then that becomes a box that people put you in. Like, as soon as people saw me hold a megaphone, they were like, we don't give a flying gosh darn what you do outside of this. You're an activist, right? Or you're this dude that runs this drive, right? But like, on the flip side of that, I'm wondering what curating the Love and Nappyness Haircare drive, curating the Long Hair No Care show, what has that taught you about your own journey as an individual musician or artist?
I think to have the space to be like, okay, like, this is what Matt Muse curation looks like. This is what Matt Muse taste looks like. You know what I'm saying? This is what Matt Muse's ability to acquire sponsors, you know what I'm saying? And to bring people out. And then on top of that, when you have somebody working with you like yourself, there's that in there as well. When you have our volunteers who this year, you know, did a little bit more of the work, you know what I'm saying, than they have done previously. Now it's like this team of people who I'm grateful to be in community with, all working together to bring this thing to life. And I think for me, it just is like, it's showing my creative side outside of just the raps. I am very uncomfortable with flexing good deeds.
Matt Muse, the philanthropist.
Yeah, and it's always my entire life. When other people did it, it made me so uncomfortable. Like when the social media started and like people would like
record,
post,
they're like, here you
I
go,
did
here's
this
a
thing
sandwich.
today. Like,
Like
I really, it makes me severely uncomfortable. I'm not judging anybody. I'm saying what I feel.
Yeah.
I've always been like, you know, icks. One of my biggest icks is like people flexing their good deeds. Because it makes it about you when it's supposed to be about helping someone.
Yeah.
Like, don't ever take a picture of yourself giving somebody a sandwich or $1.
It's literally crazy.
It's really gross.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're also dehumanizing that person and putting them on blast. Like, think through all that shit.
Yeah.
But you also have to think about it like,
but you get up and
that can also be applied to
a lot of things.
A lot of amplification of good deeds. Like, just because it's an individual person on TikTok like this doesn't mean that's not the same thing as like my shit being in an article. You know what I'm saying? Like, it kind of feels the same, you know? And so, but I understand that there's more to it than that. Like me doing an interview automatically gets people to donate to the drive. And I understand that that's the mindset I'm approaching it with. And I think that's the mindset a lot of people working in nonprofit spaces are approaching it with. I know, you know what I'm saying? And you would hope that the leaders of nonprofits are thinking of it like that. Like, we're amplifying this so that more people can know about it and contribute to it. But for me, because I have that ick, it's like, okay, I'm able to put the attention on something that I think it's okay to ask for attention for, which is making this raw ass show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and then at the show we can be like, please donate. Yeah.
There's also that, like, I relate to that because I feel like when I start, like, I made some videos on social media where I was like ranting about social justice related things, and when they started, like, you know, picking up like speed and stuff like that, I was like, I'm not gonna make more of these because I don't want to be viral or like famous on the internet for being like a celebrity activist. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, oh, you know, people having more eyes on the work that I'm doing creates more mutual aid money, creates whatever the case is.
Yeah.
But the flip side of that is that, like, the news only showing up to my protest to be like, let's get an interview, and then leaving. And like,
Instead
now
of
we're
amplifying the thing
exactly,
that we-
yes. It's like, no, you're just like, here's this person who's a figurehead. So I totally understand that, and I appreciate you for calling that out.
And like I just want to say, like,
Yeah.
I like denounce, like, I don't let anyone call me an activist. I don't let anybody call me a community anything. Like,
Exactly.
I don't.
A community. Don't call me a community nothing.
None of that.
Don't community nothing.
Because to me it's like shitting on the people who are actually those things. You know what I'm saying? I don't do none of the shit that my activist friends and community organizers. I don't. Like, I'm not gonna flex like
And that's
I do.
okay.
I came up with this cool thing, and I care about this cool thing that I think is really important, but it's not fully a necessity, and it exists in its own little box that is not either of those two things, because we're not trying to false flag or, like, you know, step on the toes of people who are really out here committing their lives day in and day out to actual, like, tangible change. You know, we're just giving products to the people who need that change.
Yeah, literally. But I think that's also important because everybody imagines their role in the work being some type of grand, like, Mother Teresa type of figure, and it's
we just a beard.
And that's okay. Like,
Yeah.
do what it is that feels that you are passionate about, where it's needed, and with good taste. Right? It's not just about you, but like, identify the need that feels most closely to what it is that you're actually good at and can relate to, and then, you know, nobody told you that you need to solve world hunger. If you feel like, oh, it would be important.
Every piece of the plane is important.
Literally.
If your wing is missing a nail or a screw,
it's gonna fall apart eventually.
It's okay to be a little screw. And that's kind of how.
Come on now.
Yeah.
It's okay to be a little screw. Isn't that a bar? A rapper. Matt Muse, everybody. This has been Shit Talk. Back to you, Jim. But that's very real. I think it's a very important, because I think we talk about a lot of really huge subjects right here on Shit Talks. But
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, I think that the idea of contributing to the community can sometimes be daunting for folks, and I feel like we've said this before, but just like, you know what I'm saying? Play the field from where your little spot is at. You know what I'm saying? Whatever leg of the relay you are, hold that down. And if you're the water boy, be the water boy.
Be the water
Stir
boy.
the shit out
Be
that
the
water.
best water boy
be
you
the
can be.
best damn water boy anybody's ever seen. Another aspect of the Love and Nappyness hair care drive is the artist aspect. Please talk to us about where those boxes come from and why it's important for those boxes to be designed by who they are designed by. Please and thank you.
The boxes come from you all. But we put them together, and then we put gold wrapping paper from Michael's.
Yes,
Trying
shout
to
out
get some
to
sponsors.
please, Michael's, please.
From Michael's.
Where's Michael at?
Right,
Bring
please,
Michael here.
Can you please give us free wrapping paper next year? And then we have local artists every year who put box designs on the face of the box that, you know, if I say, hey, create something that looks like Love and Nappyness. When you hear the phrase, just paint, draw, color, whatever that says to you. And these artists volunteer their work. Speaking of that, we need to get these boxes. This year, when I tell you they snapped,
They
like,
literally snapped.
every year they've done some amazing work, you know. But yeah, so we have local artists create those designs on the face of the boxes, and they donate a free piece of art to our drive, and then those pieces of art live in our donation locations throughout the duration of the drive, and they function as both a piece of art and a collection box.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, I feel like that, like, aspect also of the community effort, it's like in several different ways, right? It is community, because one, they're donating their stuff, and the artists, like, you know, we have a lot of artists that have done it multiple years in a row that are like, when is, you know what I'm saying, when am I gonna get my box? Like, yeah, exactly, like, I would love to. Thank you, yeah, and it's beautiful to see that it's not like, you know, because nobody want to ask nobody to do anything for free. Like, we understand that, like, art costs money and time and, like, effort and labor, but it's like a manifestation of that continued community effort, even the drop-off locations being a manifestation of that continued community effort. I wanted to ask, like, outside of this work, how are you, like, continuing to focus on what it is that you're doing as an artist? How are you not only taking time to care for yourself, but also, like, staying focused on the craft, the arts, the musics?
Not for everybody. I'm in a season of, I don't know how to say it. You could probably feel it. I have a chip on my shoulder. And I'm in a season of listening to that chip instead of ignoring it or feeling like it's like a negative thing. You know what I'm saying? I like, as an artist or as anything that is difficult or requires competition, I recently rediscovered like the idea of like edge and like purpose. You know what I'm saying? And I started rapping with a purpose. I started rapping with an edge, you know what I'm saying? And I think when things don't always go your way, you might be like, well, why am I even? Why, you know what I'm saying? And I think I started to listen, the why am I even is over here. The chip is over here. I started listening over here a little bit, you know, more. And I was like, nigga, what? Like, no, like, I don't doubt myself. Like, you know, like, you know me. Like, I love myself. I really do. Like, I think I'm great, you know what I'm saying? And I make music that I like, you feel me? And so I'm always think the music that I'm making is beautiful and I'm always enjoy it, you know? And so the edge though is like, and the chip is like, hey, I feel a little unappreciated as an artist. I feel a little overlooked, overseen, underloved, undervalued. You know, at the listening party, I talked about it, like, and I'm gonna keep saying it. And there was a time I was nervous to say it. I think I had a listening party for my new EP, So Far So Decent, a few months ago. And at the listening party, I talked about Love and Nappyness, the EP. And I, for the first time ever, publicly expressed what I feel about that, which is that I think it's one of the best projects ever to come out of this city. And I am sad that it is not acknowledged as such. Very clear-cut way to say it. But I think I'm using that as motivation to be like, okay, if you are capable of doing that once, you can do it twice, you can do it thrice, you can do it 4 times, you know what I'm saying? And then eventually, they're gonna catch on, you know what I'm saying? So right now, time to lock in. The show done, time to get in the studio. I performed a new song at the show. We're trying to get that song done to drop at the beginning of the year, maybe January or February, and then I wanna just drop singles all year. And then hopefully get to the album toward the end of the year. So right now, I'm just really focused on remembering my purpose and then letting the chip on my shoulder drive me to be the best artist I can be in the studio, to make the best music that I can make, and to be like, nah, y'all tweaking, and so I'm gonna show y'all should stop.
Yeah, that's very real. That makes me think about the way that you originally even talked about like the show, right? Like being like, can I even do this? Or like, you know, is this possible? I want to do this thing. I feel passionate about this thing. I am interested in this thing, but like, what is the probability of this happening or being successful, or other people believing in it as much as I can? And similarly, as a parallel, I feel like, especially in a city where music is so saturated, like Chicago, a lot of people may feel that way, and even yourself feeling that way about their own music. So imagine you're talking to your past self or your current self, except it's them. Like, what is your advice to folks when it comes to making your passions and what it is that you want to create paramount in comparison to like reality or being realistic?
Yeah, I'm gonna answer.
Yes.
I'm gonna say this. I love that question. I love what you just said, because recently I've been thinking about like, I want to be like a barrier breaker. Like I want people to look at me and be like, okay, he ignored or like defied like conventional whatever to make a means. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's super important to me to have the opportunity to do that, and then for up and coming artists to feel loved and cared for by the artists who came before them. And so I'm also trying to like just embrace any artist, I don't care how old you are, you know what I'm saying, any artist in my reach, to be like, just do the shit, you know what I'm saying? And so if I was giving advice to younger Muse, or any other artists out there, I would honestly say, it's gonna sound so cliche, but like really you just have to do the shit that you wanna do. Like, it is so important to attempt all the things that you want to do, you know, or that come to mind. Like, I love that your blessing or your energy made me want to do the Long Hair Don't Care show. But the flip side to that is that I told somebody the other day, I know for a fact, had we not had that conversation, I wouldn't have done it. And so when I look in hindsight, I'm just like, that's so silly because this is one of the coolest things you've ever done. You know what I'm saying? And so to even know that about myself shows you like that cloud of like, or that weight of like, not feeling supported or like pulled in by people, you know, or like by the things here in this city, you know what I'm saying? That could have made me be like, oh, you're talented and you're dope. Like, you can do anything, Matt. You know what I'm saying? And I want every artist to feel like they can do anything because no one's stopping you. You know what I'm saying? Any barrier can be overcome. Don't douse an idea before you even attempt it. You know what I'm saying? Refine it, grow it.
Period. What projects just dropped? I feel like the most important thing is what the hell is going on with Mr. Muse right now.
I just released an EP called So Far So Decent in September. It's on all the platforms. It's only 5 songs long, 12 minutes. You know, quick, easy listen on the way home from somewhere. Too short. You gotta leave them wanting more. And so yeah, go stream So Far So Decent. It's my proudest project to date. I love it. It's exactly how I want to be talking and rapping to the people. So if you go hear that, you're hearing me. So go check that out.
Period.
Yeah. I'm Matt Muse. You can find me at Matt Muse 12 on all the platforms. I think all of my social media handles are the same. And then my music is on every platform. So just type in Matt, M-A-T-T, space, M-U-S-E, Muse, and you'll have me right there. Yeah.
And how can people support the Haircare drive effort and the show that will be next year? Because you missed it, but it's all right. You got another chance.
Missed it. Follow Love and Nappyness. Love and spelled A-N-D. Nappyness spelled like happy. Not with an I, with a Y. N-A-P-P-Y-N-E-S-S. All of the information for what we do will be right there on that page. And we're you know, I'm doing some politicking and plotting and thinking on what our next year will look like. And so my hope is to be able to, because we did a few events this year that were not tied to the Haircare drive of the show, and they were very successful.
They were.
And so the goal this year is to consistently do more events leading up into, and they were free too, leading up to the show, so you can be in community with us prior to, and then come celebrate a good year with us next year in December of 2024.
Period.
Yeah.
My very last question for you is, what is your word for yourself going into this next year?
Focus. And I think that in the day and age that we're in, we're distracted a lot, you know what I'm saying? And I hate to sound like an old nigga.
But you
like,
do.
It's a fact.
It's very real.
It's a fact. Like, and I'm even realizing it, you know, how much more distracted I am than I've ever been in my life. And real life shit be going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then also your passions and your arts and things like that be going on too. All of those things require focus. The people you love require focus, you know what I'm saying? Your pet requires focus, you know? And so I just wish and pray for focus for myself on all aspects of my life, from the important personal life things to the simplest thing like getting up and doing a performance, you know what I'm saying? I just want to be able to focus enough so that everything feels like I gave it my best effort and all of my attention.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Matt Muse. You changed my life. No. Let me stop. But that was beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm wishing focus upon everybody else who's watching this as well. This is another episode of Shit Talks. Once again with Matt Musithin. Thank you so much, Matt Muse.
I love talking my shit. So
yes, he's a professional shit talker right here. You might be your next host. No, it's not. Hey, don't take my job.
Whenever you out of town.
I'm great. Thank you so much. Once again, my name is Naira. Peace.